Youth runner here, St. Mary's star, Gant Hatcher, 18, 10 and 3/4, 576. Obviously, an awesome battle through 5 rounds with you and Ellie McCuskey-Hay from St. Ignatius as we expected. Obviously, my thoughts and prayers are with Ellie. I hope it's nothing serious. I know obviously the two of you always bring out the best in one another. Would have loved to have seen both of you, be able to finish out that 6th round feeling healthy and happy, but certainly taking nothing away from your brilliance and in that 2nd round. And as I was just talking with the great Ryan Shen, like the two of you kind of mirrored with one another. It's like, you put out a big one early and said, okay, catch me if you can. But especially on this runway, Kira, with this wind, how important was it for you to kind of, dial it in early and, and feel good about one of those first couple jumps?
Well, I just know the first jump I fouled, and I was like, dang, am I gonna foul all my jumps? And I know there's only 3 before the finals. So me and my coach, we talked about it, where it's good to make sure you keep your emotions in check and just get out there and do what needs to be done. So I'm just really glad that I was able to get the 2nd jump out there and get it good, so I could just move on to the finals and keep trying to push it.
Most definitely. And then a lot of consistency between the 576 and then another 570 and 560. I mean, obviously, I know that as we get in, into May and we get into the, NCS postseason and state meet and whatnot, that you're going to be a woman that's going to be consistently in the 19s and approaching 20. But for the fact that it's only early April, to be able to have that consistency in the mid to high 18s, where eventually, that might be the ceiling today, but eventually that's going to be the floor for you, and the ceiling is going to be even bigger. But just how encouraged were you about the consistency?
I was really happy because, last 2 meets I jumped 17, so I was just like, just at least jump 18 here. So I'm just really glad that all my jumps were over 18, and the fouls, even though they weren't measured, it still felt
of course,
in the same range.
No, they were out there. And again, the same thing that I was talking about with Ryan. He's a guy that's been over 23. You're a woman whose credentials are far more significant than 17. How reassuring is this, especially with what's on deck for you, on the schedule, to be able to kind of just reassure yourself, reaffirm yourself that it's like, hey, I am that woman. Let's not be a prisoner of a couple meets of 17. I am that woman that's gonna be high 18s, if not over 19. Especially, I mean, for it to happen now, knowing what's on the horizon for you, how important was that?
It was extremely reassuring because, just sometimes you doubt yourself a lot, especially when you can do better. And I was talking about it with some of the girls, you can do better, and when you're not, it almost feels like you're not living up to your potential almost. So it's reassuring to yeah, there's going to be ups, but there's going to be downs too. So it's just knowing you can come back, you can do better. I really it's good for me to know that.
And even with a couple of the fouls, which were big toe fouls, they weren't a full foot or half half a foot. Just to be able to get on there 6 times, to get that run dialed in ahead of the triple jump. Do you feel more comfortable? You feel more? I mean, I know obviously your approach, for triple is not one and the same with long, but just to kind of feel it and see what the runway is giving you. Was that good?
Yeah, because the last year at Stanford I didn't do very well, so I was like, dang, is it the runway or is it me? So just doing good here helped me. It's not the runway, it's me. So I know I can do better. So it's going to be definitely helpful tomorrow for triple jump.
Most definitely. Is a woman who has accomplished as much as you have, and is not only one of the elite jumpers in California, but the United States, is that the type of thing that you have to work through in a very short span of time psychologically, where like you said, it's I mean, and let's be fair, Kira, the conditions last year were awful. So it wasn't just you, right? The conditions were awful, and especially when there's precipitation, it's even harder to get things going on the runway. But just the fact that after fouling the first one that you got that 576, that high 18-foot jump out there, was that just kind of good psychologically to be it's everything's fine, we're back to the old Gant Hatcher, everything's good?
Yeah, that's something me and my coach have been working on. Just yes, it's very physical, but it's also psychological. So you have to be able to like understand like you will do good sometimes and you will do bad, but it's like it only takes one jump to do good or to win.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember that, and me and my coach have really worked on that a lot this season.
Awesome. Fantastic job today. Wish you a good recovery and big series in the triple. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you so much.